You know, each of us every day has to struggle with the darkness that's built into the human heart. I, for instance, woke up this morning and asked myself if it's ethically correct to kick an opponent when he's down. I don't think it is. I think that's a very low, a very mean-spirited and evil thing to do, which I'm going to do anyway and with a great deal of relish. Let's bring in Steve Green, and sitting in for the vacationing Scott Ott, it's radio talk show legend Tammy Bruce, ladies and gentlemen. Tammy Bruce. Well, guys, the defenders of Obamacare are saying the website kind of sort of works now. Okay, not really in the sense that you can actually buy real insurance from it, but at least most of the time you can log on sometimes, maybe. But that's not the issue. And for the sake of the argument today, let's say that the fact that the rates on the other side of the website are higher with less coverage. Let's say that's not the issue. When we say government is the problem, it's not just because it produced a website that didn't work. It's how it produced a website that didn't work. A respected Bloomberg government analyst said the website cost you, the American taxpayer, about $1 billion. $1 billion. That's with a B, as in Barack. So Sean Hannity asked a couple of people who weren't involved in the Obamacare website, presumably because they do this for a living, what a site like that should have cost an actual company with actual accountants and actual management and real shareholders. Here's what we came up with.
Here's a question. If you would have been hired to build this site, how much could you build it for, and how much better would it be? Real quick answers. We'll start with you, Mr. Kennedy.
I would say to build a site like this with the infrastructure, the architecture around it, you're looking at maybe $5 to $10 million at a very maximum rate, I would say. Maximum,
and totally secure, and it would work, functional, start to finish. You still wouldn't need to build 40% of the website, right?
That's right. It would be basically functional. You do proper testing. And listen, the type of things that we're seeing here isn't rocket science.
Oh, under $1 million for the front end.
How much for total? In total, start to finish.
You know, I would agree with Mr. Kennedy. You know, in the $5–10 million range max.
Oh.
$5 to $10 million max. So Steve Green, let's say $5 million seems about right if you're shopping for bargains like it was your own money, let's say. Now, Obama and his cronies spent $1 billion, as in bullcrap. Let's see, Steve. 5 million goes into 1,000 million. That's $1 billion. 5 million goes into 1,000 million 200 times. If something's marked up double, that's a 200% increase. So 20 times is 2,000%. So that means that we, the American citizens, pay 20,000% more than fair market value for this website. Don't you see how the power of government can bend the healthcare costs down, Steve?
Oh, that was very sly. You know what? We call this thing Obamacare. We call it the ACA. But you remember the full name? It's the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act. So we're protecting patients by limiting what doctors they can see, what hospitals they can visit. We're making healthcare more affordable by making it even more bureaucratic than it already was, and spending $1 billion we don't have on a website that doesn't work. So you know what? I would like to propose an amendment to the Constitution. We can call it the Vodka Planet Amendment. And what this amendment would state is that any law that within 5 years doesn't achieve its title becomes automatically null and void. Because I would have loved to see Nancy Pelosi try and push through the Screw Your Doctor and Make You Pay More Act of 2010. That would have been great.
I would like to amend that legislation to say that within 5 months, if it doesn't achieve its goals, then it's thrown out the window. So Tammy, look, it's not just the 20,000% overcharge for a website that didn't work. The incompetence is built right into the system in the form of political favors. So how did this ridiculous Canadian company that built this website with a track record of failure get this tasty little $1 billion bon mot? That's with a B, as in betrayal.
Well, you know, and this came out actually a couple months ago, and there's not been a lot of follow-up, of course, because it's the mainstream media. There has been a lot on the internet. But there's a woman who's the vice president of that Canadian company who's a best friend of Michelle Obama. They actually went to Princeton together. And they participated in one of these social groups about Black Power, whatever they were doing over there at Princeton. Interestingly, just before this company got the contract, this friend of Michelle's was given a vice presidency. That's when she got that office at that Canadian company. So this is one of the problems when you've got big government, is that they're big because they think they're better than us. They believe that they know more, that they deserve what they have, and that we're all the little worker bees. And so their mission and their goal, of course, has been clearly to move the American taxpayer dollar into their arenas with their friends, their preferred groups, their unions, and in this particular case, direct personal friends of the Barack Obama family. So when you think about the nature of if you did this in the private marketplace, that would certainly be a violation of at least your fiduciary duty, if not a crime. And I think that when there is a decent attorney general, or when in fact decent people control both the House and the Senate, these kinds of operations will be looked at. Obamacare is being called a swindle, it's being called a fraud. And when you see this kind of bizarre choice and no bid contract to a company that hired a friend of Michelle's just before the award, I think that creates a lot of questions about the veracity and about even the legitimacy of this deal.
Let me just ask a quick follow-up question based on some of the things you said there, Tammy, to you, Steve, because I saw an article wrote a couple days ago where you talked about Rudy Giuliani's phrase about things moving at the speed of government, and how basically the government has admitted that now, what was the term they used? They're using the efficiency and the velocity of the private sector to solve this boondoggle. What was that? What was that statement that the administration released?
Yeah, the White House is promising to fix healthcare.gov with private sector velocity and efficiency. It can't be done. It's not the nature of government. The nature of government is to give billions of dollars to your friends if you can get a hold of those billions of dollars. Well, the Fed's got the spigots open. The income tax sucks in all the money at once. So that's it. That's where we are now.
Well, if the giant government is saying in order to fix this problem that we created, we're going to bring in the velocity and the efficiency of the private sector to fix this broken website, why don't we bring in the velocity and the efficiency of the private sector to fix the entire thing? Folks, this is why we fight government. This is exactly why. Because this government took longer to build a website with a functional shopping cart than it took the United States to win World War II. Because we got charged 20,000% more than it costs. Because that money went into the hands of people that paid Barack Obama politically before and will pay the Democrats again with the tax money that you just gave them for this failure. Because it didn't work. And this 20,000% inflation of this simple little project is what we can look forward to when these very same people take over 1/6 of the biggest economy in the world. For PJTV, Steve Green, Tammy Bruce, and the rest of the Trifecta staff, I'm Bill Whittle.